you cruising through life not always knowing what direction you were headed? Let Live on Purpose with Dr. Paul Jenkins be your guide. Live on Purpose will give you insights into your life and show you how you can become the driver and captain of it. No more aimless wandering. By learning the principles that govern happiness and wealth, you will be able to make personal progress that you have only dreamed possible. And now, here's your host, the shrink who expands your life, Dr. Paul.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Live on Purpose Radio. This is Dr. Paul, the shrink who expands your life. I'm in studio today with a good friend of mine. His name is Dino Pinder. Say hello, Dino.
Hey, everybody.
I'm so glad to have you with me here today.
I'm glad to be here. Nervous, but cool nonetheless.
Well, out in the hall earlier, I said it's good to see you.
And I said it's better to be seen than viewed.
And that's
Any day.
That's just an example of kind of what you're in for here today. Dino Pinder is someone that I've known now for, 6 months or so, something like that.
Yeah,
maybe a little more. It was about around Christmas time last year, I think that I first got to know you. Dino is from a place called Spanish Wells. And Spanish Wells is in a place that we affectionately refer to as the Bahamas. Is that right, Dino?
That's it. Home.
Will you tell us a little bit about your homeland and just kind of who you are and where you're from?
I don't know where to start. From the Bahamas, down home, been a fisherman my whole life, a diver. And we moved up here a year, April passed, me and all my family. And the reason why we moved is because, down home, the only way to make a living is from the sea. And it's a good living, but it just, I want to try and offer more for my children and give them a choice. Down home, if we'd have stayed down home, there are 9 out of 10 chances my 2 boys would have been right behind me, foot to foot, fighting the sharks and chasing crawfish. And
chasing crawfish. Now, you call them crawfish down in the Bahamas, right. But around here we call them lobster.
Yeah, well, see, being that sophisticated, so we say crawfish.
Well, you're chasing crawfish all around these beautiful turquoise waters down there in the Bahamas. But that was about the only way to make a living.
On our island,
your island.
Yeah, without doubt. Our island's only 2 miles long, half a mile wide, and I'd say 90% all income, that's what it comes from the sea. Mm-hmm. And so if the fishermen don't bring it home, then, you can't buy groceries, so the grocery men don't make no money, and you can't build houses, so the construction don't make no money, so it's one big circle.
That's the whole basis of the economy.
Yep.
Down there in Spanish Wells. Now, I don't know a lot about the Bahamas. I'm not sure how much some of our listeners know about the Bahamas, but it's a whole series of islands, and it's not too far from Florida.
No.
Tell us a little bit about the geography of the place that you come from.
Well, it's so funny. Since I've been up here, I'll tell people I'm from the Bahamas. They say, yeah, I've been down there before, and I know they don't have a clue what they're talking about. And I'll say, yeah, I've been to Jamaica, I've been to St. Martin. Like, that ain't the Bahamas.
Right, where all the cruise ships stop.
We're between Cuba and Florida, right? And the closest island is like 50 miles just east of Miami.
Okay.
And it runs all the way down almost to Cuba.
So not too far off of the Florida coast.
No.
And the place that most people would be familiar with in the Bahamas is probably Nassau.
Yeah.
And that's one of the tourist areas where the big cruise ships will stop. And,
right.
And so that's kind of the picture people have in their minds. But the place that you're from is not a tourist area.
No. We're about 50 miles north of Nassau, and we have tourists that come to the island, but pretty much it's all like people who's got their own homes, and they'll come down and just cool out for a while. And or people come to our islands, those who come in just to chill out. It ain't no nightlife, it ain't no bar rooms, it ain't no theaters, ain't no disco. It's like you come to do nothing, or go swimming, or go fishing, go spearing.
Swimming and fishing.
That's good stuff.
As I've talked to you, I think religion is a very important thing on your
definitely.
island as well. There's churches there, but not nightclubs.
No.
That's probably a good sign,
That's a pretty good thing. And thank God the Bahamas still, is considered a Christian nation, and they still have prayer in schools, and the government still opens up in prayer. It's still in the courthouses. I mean, it's a big part of the culture.
Well, and I think as we have our discussion here today, some of the listeners will become more familiar with you. You are certainly a man of faith.
Definitely.
But one of the things that has really impressed me about you, is your positive attitude.
Yeah, well, hey, you only got one life to live on this earth, so I say make the most of it.
That's right.
Live every day like it's the last one.
People who know Dino Pinder are always thrilled to have an interaction with him.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
This is true, Dino, because I know a lot of these people, and they look forward to seeing you. You carry with you an energy that is positive and helps people to really take a better perspective on their life. There's a song that came out, I don't know how many years ago, about don't worry, be happy.
Roger.
You remember that one,
yeah.
don't you?
Yeah.
And this is the kind of an attitude that you spread around to people. Well, you and I were talking about this a couple of months ago. And I said, Dino, you got to start writing these things down. You got to start sharing this with the world, right?
Yeah.
And so you started a blog, too. Tell our listeners about your blog.
Well, cheaper y'all leave everybody else's blog sites alone and then just cruise on over to mine. No. Since I've been up here in Salt Lake, man, it's just so many people so caught up in the humdrum of life, and they so downhearted, and they so consumed with whatever's going on. With whatever negative they got going on, and it just blows me away that they don't, like, I pass people from day to day walking in the street, their heads down, they don't even talk. They don't want, people forgot how to say good morning or hello or hey, what's happening? They just
is this a cultural difference that you've noticed? Because it's different in the Bahamas.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's, on our island, you get tired of waving. I mean, you driving, your hands going up all day long. I mean, every soul you pass, You'll pass the same old dude sitting in his porch. If you ride around the island 30 times, you got to hail him every time you pass by. Hey, and you almost get tired of waving.
And you know everybody on the island.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That's good and bad, but... but yeah, yeah.
That's right. But this friendliness, this cheerfulness is an aspect of your culture that you've kind of missed coming over here, and you're trying to share that a little bit more with some of the people.
For sure. And people who's met me since I've been working up with Break On, we be on a 24th floor building, and I know some of them just get tired of being in the elevator, because if I walk in the elevator, everybody's just shut mouth money and say a word, and I'm got to start talking. So if they're on the ride all the way up, well, they forced to talk. Because, man, the most important things in what I see is people. And we put more priority on things in our cars, and you'll get a scratch on your car and you're ready to shoot the person who scratched your car, and that's garbage, man. That's just things. They go come and go. It's relationships and it's people what matters. So if to bring a smile on somebody's face, money can't buy that. It don't get no better.
How hard is it to make people smile?
Well, it depends on how quick you can throw your clothes off. That'll put a good smile on.
Now, I'm not sure we want to be promoting that, Dino.
Well, yeah.
But you know what I mean. It doesn't take a lot of effort.
No.
But it does take some effort.
And, yeah, it's just, you just got to be yourself, man. And just people I think people that always expecting, they've been numb. So from what I've seen, society is just numb from advertising. They just numb from, the free phones, free this, free that, but it's always a catch to it. And so people get numb from, they just forgot. If you go back 40 years ago, that weren't the case. And I mean, I think prosperity, with prosperity comes a whole dark cloud of just badness. I've seen it on my island just in my lifetime. And I think that's why, without doubt, I'm convinced of it, that's why God allows catastrophes to happen, storms to come in your life. Because when you get to the point when money's coming in, and you're flowing, you're living on the mountain, guess what? God's the last thing you think about. But when you're in the valley and he knocks you down flat on your back, then you're looking up. Then you're praying. And I've seen from hurricanes passing through down home, and the day before the storm comes, neighbors ain't speaking to each other. But the day after the storm and the house destroyed, everybody's on the same plane.
You and I were talking about the hurricanes just a couple of days ago. And you commented about this, and it's kind of stuck in my mind, that this adversity that we face in life, that it has a purpose to it. You see people pull together and realize what's really important.
That's right. Better believe it. And that, yes, sir. I mean, with like I've heard my daddy say, in his day, there were no people hiring to build houses. Everybody pulled together and helped each other out because that was the way things went. But today, if somebody's got a flat tire, if you stop to help them out, you stick your hand out. You want to pay out for it, and that just ought not be. You know what I mean? Everybody needs to help each other out as best you can, because what I help you out with today, I'm going to probably need you tomorrow. And, but I've seen it. The more money people start making, the more they forget what's true. And said, but that ain't the case with everybody. I mean, without doubt. But I've seen it. And back in the day, when, like in my grandparents' age, everybody was just one big family. And now, today, you got brother against sister, and daughter against mother, and son against father, and
it does seem that people are getting confused about what the true value is.
Definitely.
If it's in things, then you sacrifice people to get the things.
That's it. And I don't know what could take place tomorrow, but I've always told my wife, I say, as long as I can put food on the table, I don't want to work in. Because if you need, this is how I look at it now, that's just me. I believe, like, from when our children came along, that I don't want my children to love nobody in this earth more than they love their mama. But if she ain't home, if some nanny's taking care of them, who they gonna love the most? They gonna love the nanny. That's who they see the most. So when you gotta work 15, 18 hours a day, both spouses, you got too many things. Better to live in a cottage or in a tent.
And sometimes people are doing that in order to have more things.
Yep.
Is that what you're noticing?
That's what I see. I often say people buy things, people borrow money they don't have to buy things they don't need to impress people they don't like. That's true.
Wait a minute. Let me see if I followed that. People borrow money they don't have to buy things that they don't need to impress people that they don't like.
That's the bottom line.
And that they don't even know.
Exactly. I see it, man. That's true. That cracks me up. Anyhow, that's life.
Well, that's another example of Dino's dime.
That's
there.
That's a 2 cents breath right there.
You talked a little bit, and I think you did a blog post about this too, about cell phone islands.
Oh, Lord, yeah, that's a sore spot.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Man.
Actually, we're going to break here in just a few seconds.
Hey, well, see, if once you get me started, I ain't gonna be able to shut up. See, that's a problem.
Well, you be thinking about cell phone islands, because I want to tell people about that as we come back from this next break.
All righty.
Raising kids is one of the most challenging and rewarding experiences we can have in life. Your children didn't come with an owner's manual, so it's up to you to learn whatever will assist you in your role as a mom or a dad. Join me and my husband, Dr. Paul, for a free weekly discussion about all of the hot topics in parenting. Listen to what others are saying about these calls.
By applying the things I've learned through the Parental Power calls, I'm finally becoming the mom I always thought I would be.
I really like to use Parental Power as kind of like a reference book. So as I have concerns with my parenting, I like to be able to look up on the blog and then listen to whatever podcast seems closely related. So I like the variety of topics, the variety of age groups that are addressed.
I'm on the Parental Power calls as often as I possibly can, because I know I'm going to come away with something I can apply to being a parent that very day.
Let us join your parenting team through Parental Power. Just send an email to Dr. Paul at liveonpurposeradio.com to register for the live calls. Or just check us out first through the link at drpaul.org. All of the previous calls are posted on our blog site, where you can also add your own input. Let's team up to start parenting on purpose.
This is Kirk Weasler to tell you about morebetterbooks.com. Morebetterbooks.com is where you can find more better books for a more better life. Not only that, let me tell you about some of the very fun and cool select titles on morebetterbooks.com. You'll want to get a copy of The Dog Poop Initiative. This best-smelling book could change your life forever. It's certainly changed the lives of thousands of Boeing employees, as well as school teachers, parents, leaders across the United States and in Israel and in Germany. And you can get your own copy at morebetterbooks.com. Whoa, that's not all. What about The Cookie Thief? This classic tale told in a rhyming format, fully illustrated with very fun hidden messages. Pick up a copy now today on morebetterbooks.com. Other great titles there: Finding Your Pathway to Mastery, Beyond Illusions, Make It Great. These titles are only available on morebetterbooks.com. Go to morebetterbooks.com today and begin to have a more better life and live that life on purpose.
I tell you what, Dino, I wrote this down because this is a gem. People borrow money they don't have to buy things they don't need to impress people they don't like.
That's pretty much a nutshell of it.
Isn't that a crazy summary of what we do as people?
Yeah. People, yeah.
So tell us about cell phone islands.
Oh my goodness. Cell phone islands. Man, well, I never... Down home is just as bad as up here too. I might as well tell you, but I've just been, I guess been more around it since I've moved up here. But man, down home, little 8-9-year-olds riding the bicycles, toting a cell phone on a 2-mile island. I mean, give me a break. You could set up nylon string with 2 cans and talk to each other on a 2-mile island.
Right.
Riding around with cell phones. And since I've moved over here, man, people like, years ago, if you'd walk in a room, or say a doctor's office or a waiting room or a restaurant, whatever, and you first thing you do is, hey, if it's in the morning, say good afternoon, or good morning, or good afternoon, or hey, how you doing? You struck up a conversation. Not today. You walk in, if there's 50 people there, 51 arms on a cell phone, and and so you sit down and you pick yours up. You ain't got a thing to do, but you play with it because when you pick up your phone, that's telling everybody around you, leave me alone. I'm doing my own thing. I don't need to talk to you. I don't want to be bothered. I've got my own life to live. I don't need no help from you, no outside world. Just I'm on my own.
I'm on my own little island.
I'm on my own little island. And I've actually seen, I've got the picture right in my mind, all as clear as day. I'm walking alongside this dude right up there on Main Street. Me and him come out of, I don't know, some stairwell together or something. And he had his phone in his hand from when we started to walk, right? Mm-hmm. It didn't ring. It didn't vibrate because I'd heard it. It didn't do nothing. He just automatically just picked it up because me and him was shoulder to shoulder. He felt like he got to say something. But once he picked his phone up, that was a signal to me like, I'm busy. Leave me alone. Don't even speak to me. Mm-hmm. And I see it in the elevator. You walk in the elevator, people pick up the phone, talk on the elevator. But the worst of it, if, say, me and you was having a conversation, if somebody walked up to us and pulled you away, that's rude, or without saying excuse me. But me and you'll be talking and my phone will ring or your phone will ring and you'll pick it up and start talking. And it's like, what gives the person more right or privilege to talk to you on the other end as me and you having a conversation? If that had been done when I was a boy, if I walked up to 2 adults talking, I'd have got my teeth knocked down my throat if I even opened my mouth.
Right.
But it's considered the normal now.
Vicki and I have talked about this a little bit when we go out sometimes for dinner or we go to a movie or something. We'll see other couples that are out because I believe that you should maintain your marriage.
Yeah, that's
we'll
a good
talk
thing
about
to do.
that in a minute too. Okay. We'll see other couples and sometimes one of them will be on the phone. The other one is just sitting there, just kind of wondering where they fit in the world.
They're waiting for theirs to ring.
Or waiting for theirs to ring, or sometimes they'll pull theirs out and start playing with it too.
It's insane.
It's a way that people have disconnected with each other.
Definitely.
The tool that we use most to connect is disconnecting us in some important ways. And that's an important thing to watch and to be aware of. Sometimes when I do these retreats, that we do couples retreats and cruises and things like that. There are times when we've set up these retreats in places where there is no cell phone service.
Good. Purpose.
Absolutely. Yeah.
People don't know what to do.
It's the idea of disconnect to reconnect.
Yeah, but without doubt, if when I first moved over here, I started work because back home, being a fisherman, the season runs 8 months. So we spend on average, close to 6 months a year out to sea. Not all one time, in 3, 4, 5 week periods. So, but since I've moved over here, I'm in to work 6 days a week. And my first job, I was a salesman. And so I'm on the floor talking with customers and my phone would ring. I'd look at it, see it was my wife, ignore. But, not being rude, it's just I feel rude talking to somebody on my phone when I'm done dealing with a customer. So when she used to get mad, and I used to tell her, I said, baby, look, I can't break away from a customer who I'm talking with and go on the phone and talk with you. That just says, well, nobody else should come first. I'm like,
right, and that too.
Yeah. So we set up. Well, if you call like 2 or 3 times in a row back to back, well, yeah, that's an indication something's wrong. I need to.
That's an emergency or something. Yeah.
But still, I've seen it, and who's ever listening to this radio, take it in your mind and you listen and look out for it. It's more. I mean, it's just obvious. Everywhere you look, cell phones, and everybody's on them and can't even talk. And the sad part is, like I said on my blog site, man, the real estate there is expensive. Because what you're doing is you're separating yourself from everybody else. You're saying you don't need no help. Leave me alone. We're creating this whole new, like your son's generation and my son's generation, they have their own new language. All this texting foolishness with 2, 3 letter words and man, it's like some Egyptian Morse code or something. And I told my boys, because I'd have never got them a cell phone, but Shireen felt like they need a cell phone. They're going to school. They're in a new place. If they might get in an emergency. And I told them, I said, the first time y'all ever call me on this, if we in the same house together under the same roof, or y'all sending me a text, 2 things could happen. It probably will get a cut up, and I'm going to take the phone from them. Because that's the generation we bringing up. That they just no communication skills. People just, it's a shame.
And it's not that there's anything bad about a cell phone or about texting or calling someone. It all has to do with what are we trying to replace there.
Yeah.
And if we can use that to enhance our relationships and our ability to communicate, then that's one thing. But if it's disconnecting us from the very important relationships that we already have, or that we could form if we would just put it down for a while and talk to the person in front of you.
Yeah. And that old call waiting, that's one of the biggest cursed tools a phone company ever invented. If I'm on the phone with somebody and they say, hold on, I'm getting another phone call coming in, when they come back to me, all they go is, that's it, silent, I'm gone.
Right.
That's full, but gives them more right coming in on me and you talking on the phone. Somebody call my phone, hey, hold on, I've got to go back to them. So you got to go back to them, and then you got to tell them that you on a phone call with somebody else, hold on, I'll call you back. Then you got to jump back. That's hogwash, man.
That's a little foolish, isn't it?
That's just so silly.
I got another thing I want to have you comment about. And we're just going to pick some topics from all over the globe here today, okay? Give them flowers while they're living.
Yeah,
Can you talk about that?
That's a serious issue, and that became more real in my life. Like I told you before when we met together about when a real good friend of mine back on the Bahamas died a few years back, and me and him played in a band together. Older gentleman, mid-50s or maybe even just over 60. And I loved him to death. And we used to play in a band together, and he had a heart condition, and I never did take the time out to put my arms around him and let him know how much I loved him. You just go through life assuming, and you never let the words come out. And so, long story short, he was getting worse and worse and worse, and going back and forth on the boat. So I'd only see him like every 2 months. So the one trip when I was home, getting ready to go, they announced in church that he was going to go for more work. Had some testing done, and it weren't no big deal. It was routine. He was been through this for a while. So
stuff he'd had before. Huh?
So I say, okay, partner, I'm gonna come down and spend some time with you tomorrow because we going away. And he was going in Miami the next day. Well, got caught up getting supplies for the boat and all that stuff, and I never did go by because he didn't think it was that important. He could be back home after we get back. And he died out to sea while we was away. And that just, when I got the news that night away, I just laid in my bunk and just cried my eyes out because I loved him to death. And I never, you could go to the graveside and talk to that tombstone all till you lose your voice. They can't hear you. And I promised myself then, if you love somebody, let them know. Because when they're dead, they can't hear you. And so that's why I say, no, it's too late to come to the graveside and throw flowers on top of it. Give them to them while they're living. In other words, let people know how much they mean to you. It ought not go a day, people who's got children, that they tell their back and forth. Children tell their parents, parents tell their children, I love you. It should come out 50 times a day, because if you ever leave your home and you have a fight, there's been 1,000 different stories, and I'm sure you know some of them. Somebody never comes back, and they leave this earth on them uncertain terms in an argument. And you just, to go through life with that bitterness and that, that through your heart, it just, life's too short for it. And so I made a promise to myself, anybody in my family, any friend that means anything to me, tell them, if you have to tell them every day. And so that's, give them flowers while they're living. Don't wait till they're dead to throw them on top of the grave. Don't do them a piece of good.
This is such a powerful concept. If we would really realize that our relationships are so precious to us. And like you're saying, Dino, sometimes we don't even realize that.
That's right.
Until we're visiting a grave, until we're holding a funeral.
Too late.
And the thing is, we're going to be having funerals either way. People are coming and going every day in this world.
Every day.
And nobody gets out of this alive.
That's right.
And so we know that it's going to happen. But what if you lived every day and you handled every relationship in a way that it would be okay? If you were to part tomorrow, you'd feel good.
Yep.
You'd feel good about where you are.
And that's how you're supposed to live. I mean, Jesus says you ain't guaranteed another breath. I was watching just about 3 days ago in the news, since I was getting my breakfast, and it was the topic was about the same type thing. This guy had some terminal illness and he was dying, and he was saying he's got a new lease on life, a new reason to live, and he was like, "We'll do so much more." I'm like, I walked away shaking my head like, buddy, the day you breathing is a miracle. The moment you get out of your bed and your 2 feet touch the floor, that's a miracle. And it ain't no small miracles. It's all big miracles. The fact that we could walk and talk is a miracle. And the fact that me and you talking right now, it's just amazing. I mean, I could fall down dead now with a heart attack. I ain't promised another 3 seconds. And if you grab hold of that concept and you live your life that way, you might get angry with people, but then you'll make sure you make amends in a heartbeat. I mean, the Bible says, don't let the sun go down on your anger. And it's a lot of truth to that, because if you live your life that way, I say bitterness and anger is the poison we mix for other people and we drink ourselves. You can't go through life being angry and bitter at people. It'll kill you.
You can, but it creates all kinds of misery.
Guaranteed.
And life is to enjoy.
It is, and I love it.
Life is to enjoy, and we're going to enjoy it a little bit more when we come back from this next break.
This is Shay Larson, IdeaOrbit.com, with the World of Ideas Report. When was the last time you visited a museum, a club, or a theme park and had to get your hand stamped? Have you ever looked down at the stamp and had dollar signs pop in your head? That is exactly what happened to Mike Brown, a 22-year-old from Costa Mesa. He launched a company called Handvertising USA, where X truly marks the spot. His company allows corporations to get their logos onto the rubber stamps used by venues and clubs around the world. Clients spend the whole day or at least a few hours at the venue and will look at the stamp right on their own skin many times. They even have to spend 30 seconds looking at it just to wash it off. It is pretty hard for companies these days to get good advertising impressions, let alone get stamped right on their audiences. Handvertising has gone global and Mike Brown discovered his first $1 million idea. The next time you get a stamp on your hand, know that good ideas are just one thought away. This is Shay Larson, IdeaOrbit.com, with the World of Ideas Report.
I've got a great idea. Wouldn't you like to know? You probably can't bear it, so I guess I'll have to share it. I thought of it a moment ago.
Thank you for joining me for the Live on Purpose radio podcast. It is truly an honor to be a part of your prosperity team. Please visit my website, drpaul.org, to get connected with other tools for you and your family. There you will find links to my weekly e-zine, Empower, Harnessing the Power of the Mind, and to the free Parental Power teleconference that I host every week with my wife, Vicki. You can also check out upcoming events or pick up powerful information products. Feel free to contact me directly with questions, comments, or to book me for your company or private event. Email me through drpaul@liveonpurposeradio.com. We're having a good time during the breaks too, aren't we, Dino?
Oh, yeah. Good stuff.
Well, welcome back. I can't even remember what we were talking about last time because you just kept on going.
I have that effect on people. I make them lose the whole train of thought.
Well, I mean, during the break, you kept going with what you'd started and talking about how it's not about the money. It's not about the job. It's not about the things. Yep. And this is our theme, I think, so far today. It's all about the people.
That's all. Yep.
And the relationships you have with them. You know, this idea, give them flowers while they're living. You posted that on your blog, and I also did a post on my blog, on my Empower blog about that. Got quite a few responses from people who noticed that, and just the way that calls to your mind the importance of taking care of what you've got right now.
Yeah, I mean, a perfect example is our siblings separate from each other just through the course of life. You grew up in one town, and when you get graduated and married, and you move 3,000 miles away. Back home, when my grandmother died, Maivy, I think she died about, I want to say 4 years ago, maybe 5. See, there again, time go by so fast. And one of her brothers, my uncle, I've probably seen him twice my whole life because we live on 2 different islands. I mean, 2 different worlds. And I don't think he saw his sister. Maivy, she was sick with cancer for a while. Bed, for 3 months, 4 months, and then finally she passed on. But the whole time she was sick, he never come to visit. But come for the funeral. Don't come for the funeral. It's it's too late then. So that's what we do as people. We think we got to go to people's funerals. And it's good. I mean,
but funerals are for the living.
But spend time while they're living. Don't wait till you gotta, you see the obituaries and then you want to go, like people say, pay the respects. So we just, you need to put what's important. You need to get our priorities straight.
Speaking of priorities, I want to shift gears again. And I'd like to talk to you for a little while about marriage. Because I know you got some thoughts about this.
That's a good topic.
And you and your wonderful wife, Shireen.
Hallelujah.
You've been married for how long now?
I think about 25 years. 15.
That's your estimate, huh?
Yeah.
About 15 years.
Yep.
You and Shireen, you got a couple little kids.
Yep. I got 4 children, and I've got about 4 crowns and glory waiting for me just for putting up with her for all these years.
You have learned something. Well, if you get the crown, she gets the castle.
That's right? What I'm talking about, no doubt.
You've learned a few things about what it takes to keep a marriage strong, to raise up children. Just talk about that for a few minutes. Let's get that started.
Man, well, I'll tell you one thing. I think back home on our island, we get married young. And I got married when I was 19. She was 17. And we've been married 15 years, May passed. And before I got married, you could count on your two ends all the divorces that ever took place on Spanish Wells. And we got a population of like 1,500 people. People I think going out to sea it helped. Because by the time the couple start fighting, the man takes off and goes.
Take a little break, huh?
So I think, no doubt, that played a good part in it. And so it created, you always lived on a honeymoon. I mean, you've been away from your wife for 4 weeks. That first night home, man, China can make all the fireworks in the world. It ain't that good. So that's all, if you know what I mean. So that creates an atmosphere of want. Like you can't get enough of each other, period. And then by the time you do start to have little fights, you're going back out to sea again. But that's the lighter side of it. And true. And like on my blog site, I put in there the keys to a successful marriage. And I figured this out. You know, I told you when we first started, is she's always right. Your wife's always right.
Okay, so
you got it made.
Here's Dino's dime for the day, huh?
Yeah,
some people give their 2 cents, but Dino has a dime every time he speaks. And what you've learned is that she's always right. Is that what you're saying?
Well, she thinks she is. So, but all jokes aside, I say my thoughts on marriage. If you do after you get married what it took to get married, you'd stay married. Wait
a minute. Say that again.
If you do after you got married what it took to get married, you'd stay married. Before, like when you're dating, it's all lovey-dovey, it's all kisses, it's all sweetie this and honey that, and it's all dates and movies and
you're always looking forward to seeing each other.
Yearning. They got a yearning
dressing
passion.
Up, you're trying to impress each other, you're doing all kinds of things, right?
And then I think people get married for a while and they tend to take each other for granted and they tend to fall in normalcy, if that's the right word. They don't spend time talking. Communication is key, without doubt. I don't know. It ain't, if you don't have a good communication in your marriage, from talking about every aspect from A to Z, then you finished. And if you can't, like, you've heard the term forgive and forget. Well, that's impossible. You can't forget. God chooses to forget when he forgives our sins, but you can't forget. But you have to make a choice not to remember. When you have when you're arguing about you burn up the steak, don't bring up the fact that something took place 2 years ago. If you ever bring arguments, when you're having a discussion and an argument, if you ever bring up something that took place in the past, then you're never truly forgiven. And if you can't be open, like the Bible says, don't let the sun go down on your anger. Well, I've seen daylight come and catch us many a night, still trying to get things.
Still trying to work it out. Huh?
But I always said, if you make it past the first 2 years, you got it lit. Anybody, I hear these stories about people getting divorced when they're 30, 40 years into marriage. I want to say, thou fools, how could it be? I mean, all that time, like, just throw it away. Me and Shereen now, we have more fun now. I mean, fun. I'm talking about, I'll still be brushing her teeth in the night and just laugh until you're ready to fall on the floor. Well, most of the time, you're just poking fun of me, but we have fun. I mean, like, she's down home now for the next 4 weeks, and so I'm just trying my best to just keep myself occupied and paying hours and all that fun stuff to stay busy. But if you make an effort, and you got to make an effort, in a relationship, you don't plateau. You never arrive to the point when everything's gravy. There's no neutral. It's just like a tide. Tide ebbs and flows, and that's how relationships are. You're either going forward or falling back. And if you don't make an effort to keep going forward, if you just get relaxed, and I've seen it in my marriage. I've seen the days when it'll go. I can't remember the last time we had a discussion, and then guess what? Boom! Out of nowhere, something takes place. And if you don't condition yourself and don't condition your mind for when those hard times come, you ain't gonna know how to deal with them. So that's why you have to get communication. You got to be able to talk. And I think what takes place in a lot of young marriages, they don't be open. They don't be truthful. Truth hurts. But you got to get it out and then deal with it. Because if you don't get it out, then how can you work on your problems?
And maybe trust each other enough to know that you can have some conflict.
Definitely.
Without disrupting the whole apple cart.
That's, I think, and if you go, and in this society that we live in, I mean, you see the divorce rates, it's insane. But if you go into a marriage thinking there's an easy way out, well, guess what? You can find it. But if you go into thinking we in this for the long haul, because God created man and a woman. So every man could be the best man in the world, and every woman could be the best man in the world, but it's work. And if you, when I tell people I was a piece of coal when we got married, and now I'm a diamond. And all Shireen will agree with that. I don't know if she ever put up with me when we first got married. I was the coldest hard snake you've ever come across. No emotion, just flatline. And I see us because a woman is, I don't know how God could create such a special being. Because they ain't like me and you. No sense of the word.
You figured that out,
I figured that much out. And that's true, like men from women from Venus and men from Mars or some other planet, because Lord knows I had so much growing to do. But what I've noticed, everybody's got their own love language. Some people, it's money. Buy me a car, I'm the happiest person in the world. Some people, it's different things. But in our relationship, it was time.
Just spending the time with each other.
Time, that's it. And I look for, like, since we've been over here, we try to, and we got so caught up in work, because I was working, not getting on till 9:30 or later. And I found myself drifting away from her, because it's a continual thing. You gotta put each other first. And that was my biggest obstacle to learn in getting married. And I'm still a work in progress. I mean, like the song, God's still working on me.
Yeah, that's for sure.
He got plenty of work. He needs going overtime.
Something you said triggered a thought for me. I talk to a lot of couples who are postponing their happiness. And they do that by saying, well, once we have that house, then we'll be happy. Or once I get to this point in my job, then we'll start spending some more time together. Or after we retire, or after the kids are raised, or whatever. They're always looking for some future thing to happen so that they can be happy.
And you know what will happen is they go find that little spark of happiness somewhere else. Because if you don't show interest in your spouse, somebody else will show interest in them, and they go waver off. That's what happens. And like that old saying, the grass always greener. I say that's garbage, man. Fertilize where you are. And you don't look down the road at the neighbor's grass and lawn. Take care of your own. And man, like I told my wife, since she been down home, I say all the men down home been lusting over you because she looks good. I'm gonna brag on her without doubt. And it's just fun, but that's it. You got to flirt with each other. I mean, I flirt with her more now than I did when we was dating. You just got to make each other. If you make each other feel special, but like how you say, you got to be willing to take criticism. And
so anyone out there who's listening to this podcast right now could do something today, even within the next half hour, to improve your relationship and to improve your marriage. And it could be just something like what you're saying.
Definitely.
Do whatever it took to get married, and you'll stay married. Is that what you said?
That's what I'm saying. One phone call. I mean, yesterday I was doing some work in a condo painting, and this old country tune came on, and I can't remember what it was about. I mean, I know what it's about. I mean, the song, but it was about there should be a hall of fame for moms, and old country tune like back in the 60s. And I welled up with tears thinking how much I love my mommy. So I picked up the phone and called her down in the Bahamas just to let her know that.
Perfect.
It's them little things.
And you can do that today. You probably had an idea of something that you could do. Follow through on it. Have the guts to follow through on your inspiration. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Jason Adams, one of the co-founders of CashflowParadigm.com. We created Cashflow Paradigm as a way to help others look at money differently. What are your beliefs about money? Is it good or bad? Many people have beliefs that limit their control over money and don't even realize it. The thing most people don't realize is that their beliefs about money greatly affect the amount of money and prosperity they have. It's all about your paradigm. Come play a fun game with us called Cashflow 101, created by best-selling author Robert Kiyosaki. Come meet new people and check your paradigm as we learn principles that govern our personal and financial lives while having fun together. Currently, we are holding monthly game nights in Provo and St. George, Utah. Go to our website at www.cashflowparadigm.com to register for upcoming events. That's www.cashflowparadigm.com.
This is Ross Kellen Moore of Creation Tree Coaching, and I've got 2 questions for you. Who are you? What do you want? You see, I've figured out that you and I can absolutely create anything that we really want. But to do that, we've got to be absolutely clear on who we really are and what we really want. So what do you want? More financial abundance? More fulfilling relationships? A higher level of health and fitness? How about finding your work that allows you to create massive value for others in the way that you love most? Welcome to Creation Tree Coaching. We are the world's premier provider of abundance, education, and resources. We are here to help you create the life you really love. Begin now at creationtreecoaching.com. Check out our live teleseminar classes and podcasts. Get to know our coaches and schedule a coaching session. Explore training for your business and employees. Welcome to Creation Tree Coaching and a whole new world that you create on purpose.
And we're back. Here we are. I think we might call this show Dino's Dime today, after your blog.
I hope you don't get no hate mail.
I hope so too. If I do, I'll just forward it right on to you, okay?
Just send it right on my way.
In fact, if you want to comment, you can go to Dino's blog. It's Dino's Dime, DINOSDIME. dinosdime.wordpress.com.
Yeah, I think so. That's what it is.
Does that sound good to you? dinosdime.wordpress.com. And you can go there and see some of the thoughts that Dino has posted online. You can comment. You can take all your hate mail there.
Yeah, right. I take all your hate mail there. And I'm got to get back on there. We've been up in Alaska for the last 3 weeks, and so I'm neglected the site. But it'll be live. I'll be checking it every day from here on out.
Well, you just put something on there just recently. In fact, you talked a little bit about some of what we've just covered. In fact, I'm reading right now off of your blog. If you do after you're married what it took to get married, you'll stay married.
In fact, I believe it.
No excuses.
No excuses.
No excuses. Just do it. Do what it takes.
I believe it. And I have to tell myself that often because I used to, it's the little things. And that's so, we hear that cliche so much, but I think that's it now. As a society, we've been bombarded with too much advertising, too much media. But when all the advertising and the media started with all their neat little things way back in the day, it meant something. But now you have so much of it, you've just become norm. So when you have somebody say it's the little things, that goes right over your head. But it is. Every little drop counts to fill up the gallon, and that's just how it goes. The little things, like, I'll just leave a note. If you wake up before your wife that morning, leave a little note. I love you, baby. Looking forward to coming home, blah, 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 whatever. Post it where she'll see it. Mm-hmm. It's just the small things. I used to say when we first got married, I used to say, Shireen used to treat me like a god. And people say, what? They'd get offended. Yeah, right. I say, well, she did. She used to always serve me burnt offerings. Learning how to cook. So, but now that ain't the case. I'm blessed. She's the best. But
you know what? That reminds me of a T-shirt that we saw when we were on our cruise in the Caribbean last year, and this very large gentleman was wearing this T-shirt. Did I tell you about this?
No.
And his T-shirt said, "I have the body of a god." And then on the back it says, "Unfortunately, it's Buddha."
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Anyway, that has nothing to do with anything. Do you know? It just reminded
funny.
me of it when you were saying that. Good day. A good day to be alive.
Good day to be alive. Hallelujah.
Aren't they all?
Every one of them. Man, and if you wake up, I don't wake up before my feet touches the floor. I thank the Lord. Thank you for allowing me to get out of bed and my feet could get down and walk and talk. I was in the store 2 or 3 days ago, and the cashier was like, "You so just excited, or what's it so to be fun about? What's the smile on your face?" I'm like, "You here?" I say it's a miracle. It's the fact that you could get out of bed. You know how many people bedridden and can't get out of bed.
They can't get out, right?
And they don't have a choice in it. And you know how many people would give their everything that they own to be able to walk?
Or to see, or to hear, or to taste.
You got all this blessing and you hear, you don't appreciate it. And she paused for a second. She looked looked around the room and, you know what? You're right. I say, yeah, it's a blessing to be alive. And we just need if you focus on that more instead of all the you got this bill to pay and that bill to pay, you could be dead and gone and them bills could still keep coming. So enjoy each day that you got and live every day like a millionaire. I used to do that because Shireen always took care of all the bills. And now that I'm looking at them, but I still think of the same way. She used to tell me, Dino, how much in your bank account? I used to say, I don't know. How much we owe so-and-so? I don't know. Well, you need to know. I say, no, I don't, because once I don't know, then I live like I'm got $1 million. But yeah, don't worry about money, man.
So what about all of the hardship that people face? What should they do with it?
Well, for me, I believe in God. I believe in Jesus, and I believe that He's my all in all, without doubt. I can't walk without Him holding my hand. And that's, for me, that's how I make it through life. That's how I make it through hard times, through prayer, through faith. And people say, well, there is no God. Well, buddy, it takes a whole lot more faith to believe there is no God than it does for me to believe there is one. Because it's easy for me to look out there and say, God made that, than it is to say some amoeba crawled up out of the deep blue and turned into whatever.
It just happened.
That
randomly.
takes far more faith to believe. I don't care who you are. And so I've always said, in all aspects of my life, because I accepted Jesus when I was a little boy and believed in Him my whole life and still do. And I've seen the power of prayer. I've seen the power of faith. And God is real. And He is to me. And I talk to Him every day. And He speaks to me through every area of my life. And it's that still small voice. And so when storms are going to come. You either in a storm now, coming out of a storm, or you're getting ready to go in one. Expect it. It's coming. You're going to go through hard times. So for me, the only way I get through the hard times is by leaning on Jesus. It's like the old pictures that you've seen, footprints in the sand. You'll see two sets of footprints, and sometimes you only see one. That's the times when Jesus carried me on His back, without doubt. And in our relationship, that's why, without a shadow of a doubt, why me and Shireen are still married, because of our faith in God. It's like a pyramid, a triangle. Me and Aaron both bottom corners and God to the top. And so before we look at each other, we look at Him, and you look at each other in a different light. Because if God could forgive you of everything we've ever done and will do, how can I not forgive her for whatever? And so if you keep that fresh in your mind, and you keep that fresh in mind with all relationships, will somebody, rip you off $1,000? I'm going to hate him for the rest of my life. It ain't worth it.
Who's that going to hurt?
Yeah, exactly. Going to hurt you. And I know some people, some real wealthy people who go through life because if they've been dogged in a business deal, they hate the next person, and it shrivels you up just like a prune. And so if you can't forgive them, how can God forgive you? And so if you realize what all He's done for you, and you just want to do the same for the next person. And so that's how I get through. Because I've been through some tough times, without doubt, from natural disasters to, death in the families to, problems with my older sister. It's never ending. And so it ain't like you ain't going to go through hard times. You will. It's coming. You could look for it.
That's a given, isn't it?
It's a given. It's just how are you going to go through those times? I always say God allows what you go through. God chooses what you go through, but you choose how you go through it. Life could make you either better or bitter. It's up to you to choose it.
Better or bitter.
Better or bitter.
So your faith and your positive attitude, that's what helps you to deal with all the storms that come. And I love the analogy that we talked about earlier, because you come from a place in this world where storms are no laughing matter.
No,
that's a very serious thing when one of those hurricanes comes through your island system. It can level a whole community
in hours,
and it brings to mind what's really important,
Yep.
But also, the storms are going to come. I like what you said about that. There will be storms for sure. And I've thought about this before, too. You know, if you've got... if you're sitting here in the office, for example, and you see that it's starting to rain, that there's a storm that's starting, and you realize that you left your windows unrolled in your car.
Right.
What should you do?
Run out there and screw them up.
Just go out there and roll up the windows, right? What good would it do to go out and shake your fist?
That ain't gonna stop it.
At the heavens.
That's a good analogy.
Don't you start with me, you know?
That's right.
And insist that the storm doesn't come. Storms are going to come. But there's a lot of benefit to storms, too.
Always. Because, without doubt, I think, and I never realized this, believe this or not, until 2 years ago. About 2 years ago. Because I used to all the time pray, Lord, give my wife patience with the children, because, children get stressful. And I never told her that I prayed that. So
patience with her husband.
Oh, patience with her husband. Yeah. Twice patience. So this one night when I come home from out to sea, I started telling, I pray for you every day. I ask the Lord to do this and this. And when I mentioned about pray for patience, she looked at me like, what? Says, Dino, you don't pray for patience. Because do you realize how you get patience? Do you remember the story of Job? You have to go through trials to get patience. I'm like, you know what? I now realize that. And she's right. You don't.
I'm patient enough. Never mind.
That's what you said. So don't pray for patience no more.
Well, these experiences we have in life is just an opportunity to learn stuff.
That's true.
And it's so tempting sometimes to frame our experience as being bad.
Right.
When really it's difficult. But why would we call it bad when it can bring so many lessons into our life and things that will enhance our ability to really connect with what's important, and especially those 5 key relationships. We've talked about those before on this show, Dino. You're looking a little bit puzzled, like, what are the 5? No, I think I've heard them.
Right. I'm looking at you and thinking, is he going to ask me the 5?
No, I'll say them because I know that you agree with this. We've talked about it before, where it's first and foremost your relationship with your Creator.
Right.
Second, your relationship with yourself.
True.
Third, family. And family has a lineup. It goes spouse, children, extended.
Definitely.
In that order. And then fourth is your relationship with other people, all the people in the world.
Right.
And fifth is your relationship with things.
That's true. Right. And I think that happens, from I believe you refer to it as multi-family couples or something, when like people bring children, his, ours, and theirs, or a spouse bring children.
Oh, yeah. Like a blended family.
Right, a blended family. I think what causes problems from what I see, the little bit I know about it, is that the spouse coming in who've got 2 children, they tend to, I'm going to put my children first. No, you got to put that spouse first. Or
that comes first in the family.
That's probably why there is a blended family in the first place, because you didn't put your first one first. Oh, yeah. Yes. I mean, I love my children to death, but mama comes first to me, but it just flows. If mama comes first,
then the rest is in line.
In line, without doubt.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Dino, it's been a thrill to have you on the show today.
Yeah, man, it's been fun.
It's been a lot of fun. We're going to be piloting a little segment, I think, in the future, where we'll have some little tidbits of island wisdom, if you want to call it that.
Sure.
Come in on the Dr. Paul show every once in a while. But we'll just kind of watch and see what we can make happen there. I want to give people a way to get connected with you. We mentioned your blog earlier.
Right, yeah.
And that's dinosdime.wordpress.com. Go to dinosdime.wordpress.com. See what Dino's talking about. And give your comments, too. He loves to get comments, don't you?
Yeah, say whatever you got to say. I mean, it ain't monitored. But if you write it, it'll be there.
And Bring it on. It's just your opinions anyway, right?
Hey, everybody's got one.
Everybody's got one. Yours might be worth 2 cents.
That's all.
This one's worth a dime.
There you go.
Thanks for being with me, Dino.
Thanks for having me.
Everybody go out there and live on purpose.